Well, Chris Bosh is going to be a Hall of Famer. It's not just the fact that he played for 13 seasons as well as an all-star in 11 of them. He is also part of one of the most memorable brief dynasties, the Miami Heat with 2 rings, and a gold medalist. From the best high school player in Texas to a All-American at Georgia Tech to a all-star in Toronto. One of the classier, smarter guys that's played in this league for a long time, and he is now joining us on the phone, brought to you by Mercedes-Benz, the best or nothing. So, first of all, Mr. Bosh, I see you in the virtual fan category. I'm watching Lakers Clippers, and your face is in the crowd. So, Mr. Big Shot, how did that happen? Explain it to the audience.
Well, that was an opportunity, with Michelob, actually. I'm sure I'm not the only person intrigued by this situation.
Right.
Trying to figure out how to keep the league going and the season going and keep people in, with jobs and stuff like that. But, trying to play the game and stuff like that. So, I thought it was a very interesting experience and really seeing how it's really sticking and how guys and girls are tuning in pretty much to every game. I mean, it's almost like the NCAA tournament almost.
Yes.
Basketball every day.
Chris, it's interesting. I said this. Joy and I talked about this. I said, we forget how brutal NBA travel is. These guys aren't going to 33,000 feet, no turbulence, no vans at 2 a.m, no hotel. Chris,
Yeah.
are you shocked at the energy of these games? God, they feel like playoff games.
Yeah, no, you know what? I'm not shocked. I'm very happy with it. I think that was one thing everybody was going to be a little skeptical over, was the intensity and just getting the rust off and getting back. But these guys are, they're coming in and playing very hard, and they seem to be in a great rhythm. I mean, after 4 or 5 months off, that's very difficult to do. It's essentially like playing another season, but you have to give credit to all the players for being prepared and picking up right where they left off.
Yeah, it's been great. Now, it's interesting. I was saying this. If you went to the last 7 NBA champions, Heat twice, Warriors twice, all of them had what was, as a 2 or a 3 player, either a Hall of Famer, a Klay Thompson, somebody exceptional, Draymond Green, Defensive Player of the Year. We too often go, who are your best 2 players? But the third player, there's almost Kyle Lowry last year, is a hell of a third player because Siakam and Kawhi Leonard. So I put it up on my board here. Kevin Love, you were often perceived as the 3, although you're going to be a Hall of Famer. I look at the Lakers right now. Chris, Kyle Kuzma's a kid. He's averaging 12 a game. I feel like the team is too LeBron AD centric. They don't feel like a championship team to me. Do they? Do you?
I mean, they do. And, that's one of the challenges all the time, right? I mean, if you're going to be a championship team, you have to do what you do well, right? You have to be the best team in the league. You definitely have to spread the wealth. And at the same time, your top 2 guys, top 3 guys, they have to do their job and make their averages and exceed their averages in order to be successful. I think this is a very interesting point in time for Kyle Kuzma. I think, he's expected to fill that role. I think everybody's looking for him to fill that role. But at the same time, it's not easy. You have to adjust in so many different ways. And him being a young player, it's a challenge, but I think they can figure things out. I think they do a good job of getting AD the ball quite a bit.
Yes.
LeBron's going to be LeBron. They do have to have that guy to step up and just be consistent, really. And as a team, I think, with J.R. Smith, Deion Waiters, they're still trying to figure some things out. But, that's what these 8 games are for. I think they play the third one tonight or tomorrow. And we'll see what happens. But I think this is kind of like another situation, and we're going to have to, just redo everything. And they're going to have to relearn everything and kind of come back together as a team.
Let me ask you, you had a physical situation at the end of your career, Zion Williamson. He played 33 minutes pre-bubble. Now he's playing 15, 16. He's frustrated. Are the Pelicans being too cautious with what appears to be one of the next faces of the league, Zion Williamson?
That's one of the interesting things with the league. In the what's it called, the maintenance program.
Yeah.
It's a slippery slope. I mean, you're trying to mitigate injury and make sure your best players don't get hurt, but I feel that at the same time there is a when do you learn to push through things?
Right.
I think we get or the league gets too caught up with some players and teams get too caught up in saying, well, hey, for that championship, we're going to compete for later. And, they never get to it because everybody was resting and chilling and he wants to play. And I'm sure he'll be fine out there playing, and maybe they know some things that we don't know.
Yeah.
But you definitely, when you're 19, 20 years old, putting a minute restriction, it's, I guess, I'm from a little bit of a different generation, and I know things change, and that's great. But I would like to see Zion out there more. He's a great player. He has a great upside, and I want to see him play. Come on, Colin, I haven't seen him play. I wanted to watch him at Duke. He got hurt. Okay. They only played a couple tournament games and then, played one summer league game, and then he was injured for the season. So, I want to see him play consistently.
So you left Toronto, despite it being a good organization, and to join a super team. And I said this about Giannis. I said, I love Giannis, and I think he's earnest when he says, I want to stay in Milwaukee. But if they can't get to the finals, Chris Middleton's a max player. It's not a free agent hub like a Miami. I could see Giannis saying, listen, man, I'm in my window. I got 6 years in this window. I got to start putting up titles.
Yeah.
What you did that. What's going through his head?
I think it's having short-term goals in the beginning, right?
Right.
I'm sure he's there. He's totally present. He wants to bring a championship to Milwaukee. He wants to defend his MVP title. He wants to be the best player out there. I think that, that goes without saying. But eventually, to get there, and look, in my career, being the number one or whatever you want to call it, we barely made the playoffs. It was fighting like hell to make the playoffs.
Right.
And then we're out of there in 5 or 6 games. But to constantly knock at the door and not get through, and that's kind of tough. Let's say they do theoretically make the finals and play the Lakers or the Clippers. When you're who you are, they're sending the whole team at you, and you have to depend on your teammates to make plays. And then again, on the other side, you're having to guard LeBron and AD and Dwight Howard, and then close out to Danny Green and Dion Waiters and J.R. Smith. It's very difficult situations. I think they still have time to put things together, but that'll definitely be a huge, huge question. And it's so fascinating because this free agency period is going to be very, very quick. So, Giannis could potentially be in another uniform by the end of the year,
There's no question. Listen, I only got a minute left. Miami Heat. I think Spoelstra's always been underrated. They got 2 undrafted guys starting. Give me a minute. Your thoughts about the Heat, their season, and what they did, which shocked everybody.
I think the Heat are always just going to be one of the things about Spo. He's going to have you ready. You're going to be in shape. You're going to move the ball. They're going to have the system in place, and that's going to give you a chance to win night in and night out. And I think he's getting better with delivering those messages. And the young guys, undrafted guys, seem to have confidence. They're letting the ball go, shooting very well. Bam Adebayo is playing, the way he should be playing as an all-star, and the franchise cornerstone of that team, as well as Jimmy Butler. But I think in this situation, with this bubble situation, that's one of the most dangerous teams out there to me, because there's no home court advantage. If we're just talking about tossing the ball up and playing, man, the Heat are going to make it tough on you every single time.
Yeah. No, they are. It's amazing. They're one of those teams. Houston's become this now. They'll shoot 53s. They don't care. They just
they're
don't,
going to let it go.
They're going to let it go. Chris, you're all class. It's great hearing from you again. Best of luck to you and your fam.
Thank you very much, man. I appreciate it.
All right, Chris Bosh, as good as they get. Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from The Herd, or go watch a few segments from other shows on FS1.